Chapter 4, Section 1, Matrix Operations. Your objective is to organize data using matrices, also to simplify matrix expressions using the property of matrices. Think of the essential question while you are doing your homework. Homework assignment numbers 1 through 21 for this section. Vocabulary. A matrix is a rectangular arrangement of numbers called entries in rows and columns. Plural of a matrix is vertices. So when you have rows, they're the horizontal and columns are vertical. The dimensions, size, or order of a matrix is the number of rows by the number of columns. And we usually write that, for example, 2 by 2. 2 rows by 2 columns. A square matrix is a matrix with the same number of rows and columns. 2 matrices are equal if their dimensions are the same and all the corresponding entries are equal. Okay, organizing data in a matrix. Here's the first example of how to organize it. Store A sells 550 DVDs, 420 video games, and 910 CDs on an average every week. Store B sells 405 DVDs, 300 video games, and 1,100 CDs on average every week. Use a matrix to organize this information. State the dimensions of this matrix. So when you look at it, they took Store A and then the titles DVDs, video games, and CDs, and plugged in the numbers, and they did that with Store B. So when you see here, here's a row and a row, so that's 2. That's where they get the 2. And then you have the DVDs, which is 1, 2, 3 for the product. So it's a 2 by 3 matrix. You always start with the rows first, the horizontal, and then the columns next. Determine the order of the matrix. So again, what you want to look at are the rows. Here's row 1, row 2, here's column 1, column 2, so we have a 2 by 2 matrix. Example 2, we're going to determine the size of this matrix. All right, so we have how many rows? We have 1, 2, 3 rows. How many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a 3 by 4 matrix. I'm just putting the lines there so you can see what the matrix size is. You don't have to put that when you're doing it. All right, so adding and subtracting matrices. So in order to add or subtract any matrix or matrices, the dimensions must be the same. So we're adding the matrices 4, -3, and 1, plus 8, -1, and -5. So first of all, you have to. Step 1 is to determine if you have the same identical matrices. So we have 1 row and 3 columns, and then 1 row and 3 columns. So this is a 1 by 3 and 1 by 3. So that's step 1. We did identify that they're both the same size, so we can move on to the next step. So the next step is to add the matrices together. So you take the first number with the first number in the other matrix. So now we have 4 plus 8. So when you do this, the final matrix will have the same dimensions. So let me take -3 plus a -1, and then we have 1 plus minus -5 plus -5, 1 plus a -5. Okay? So what we have here is 12 -4 and -4. So when you add them together, you have to take each corresponding matrix. This is in the first position, first row. The 8 is in the first position, first row, so we have to add those together, and so on. We'll do a couple more examples. So here they finish it up. All right, so here's our first example. We're going to go ahead and perform the indicated operation if possible. First thing we need to do is to identify the size of each matrix. So we have 2 rows by 3 columns, 2 rows by 3 columns. So we can actually add these together. Are they the same size? Yes. So first thing when you're adding and subtracting, make sure they're the same size. So now what we do is we take each number, here's a positive 3, we're going to subtract a positive 5. That's in the same position. So we have 3 minus 5. Next one is 0 minus a negative 9. 0 minus a negative 9. Make sure if you're subtracting a negative, you put it in parentheses so you can remember how to do it. Add it together later. Negative 12 minus a minus 1. Negative 12 minus a minus 1. So you can see we worked with only the first rows, and we've subtracted the first from the second. Now we're going to do 5 minus 0. Now we're going to go to the second row now. 5 minus 0. You always want to stay in the corresponding entry. So negative 8 minus 13. And then 6 minus 7. So now that we've completed subtracting, we just have to finalize everything. I'll finalize it down below there. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. 0 plus 9 is 9. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. 5 minus 0 is 5. Negative 8 and negative 13 is 21. 6 minus 7 is negative 1. So there you have it. Those two matrices, subtracting those two matrices yields this matrix right here. And as you see, you had a 2 by 3 matrix subtracted from a 2 by 3 matrix, so your resulting answer will be a 2 by 3 matrix. All right, example 4. So let's check. We have the first step is to check the size of the matrices. So we have a 2 rows, 3 columns. Next one is 3 rows and 2 columns. Are they the same size? No. So can't add them together because they're not the same size. And you just stop there. There's nothing else to do. You just say I can't add them together because the matrices aren't the same size. All right, scalar multiplication. Example, find the indicated matrix, and we're going to let A equal that matrix, the 4 by 2 matrix. And it says to find negative 3 times A. So we take the negative 3 and we multiply by each term or entry in the matrix. Negative 3 times 6, negative 18, negative 3 times 0. It's always in the same position. The negative 3 on the outside, any number on the outside multiplies by each entry on the inside. And then our resulting matrix, if we have a scalar multiplication or scalar on the outside, results in the same size matrix. Find the indicated matrix. So we have B is equal to 1720. It's a 1 by 4 just so you get some practice. It's a 1 by 4. So we're going to take negative 6 and multiply it by the matrix 1, 7, 2, 0. And that equals negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 times 7 is 42. Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. And negative 6 times 0 is just 0. So all you do when you have when you're going to multiply is multiply each entry on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and leave C for you. Remember, find 1/3 C. You're just going to multiply the 1/3 times C. All right, let's take a look at this example. They want us to find A plus 4B. So we have A, which is 4, 2, 1, 3. This is what they're asking, plus 4 times 2, 0, 7, negative 4. So that's 4 times A plus 4 times B. Now, they're both, you always want to check, they're both 2 by 2 matrices. So when we get at the end there, we can add them together. But what we have to do first, order of operations says we do multiplication first, then addition. So we have to multiply the 4 first. So we're going to have, we have to leave the first matrix alone, plus, and we multiply the 4 together with what's inside. So that's 8, 0, 28, negative 16. Again, the resulting matrix is the same size. So now we can add them together, and because we're adding, we'll have the same size matrix at the end as well. 4 plus 8 is 12. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 28 is 29. And then 3 minus 16 is negative 13. So this answer, the resulting matrix is for this right here, A plus 4B. Last thing we're going to go through is how to find an X and a Y that's in a matrix. So we have two matrices are equal if their dimensions are the same and all the corresponding entries are equal. Example, determine the value of X and Y that makes the equation true. So they give you two matrices and it's equal to the resulting matrix 9, 13, negative 12, and negative 3. So what we have to do, we see here that it's in this position here. We're going to add it to the 1 and it's going to equal 13. So we have this, negative 2x plus 1 equals 13. So now we just have to solve for x. We subtract 1 from both sides. We get negative 2x equals 12. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. X is equal to negative 6. So this right here is negative 2 times negative 6, which is positive 12. So this is positive 12, x is negative 6. We do the same thing now for y. Y is in the second row, first column. So we have 8 plus 5y equals negative 12. Subtract 8, subtract 8. So we get 5y equals negative 20. I get 5 divided by 5. We get y is equal to negative 4. So when y is negative 4, we come back to our place here. So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. So negative 20 is the number in here. So if you want to check, you have 8 minus 20 equals negative 12. Okay, so if you have any other questions, you can ask either myself or Ms. Dobson in class. And the last page is for you for the CCSD Common Practice.